that is live. That we the 1 minute while I get notifications pushed out. Right. Let me put a thing on live stream. The game hasn't frozen, it's just paused because the game window doesn't have focus right now. So let's drop the link on Discord. Oh no, don't end the stream. I clicked end stream instead of. Hello, Real Smurf. Hello, is it Yearly? Yearly? I'm just putting the link in the Discord. Do you know what? It keeps coming up with a picture of me when I did the with the thumbnail. I'll just drag it over here. Hope I don't show a stream on a stream. Break the internet. It also shows this thing. This was quite a few years ago, and I got to do a what do you call it? Like flight simulator experience with a very realistic 737 cockpit. At some point, I chose that thumbnail image for a video I made, and now it defaults to it, even if I'm doing a stream about tornadoes. So, in terms of doing some better marketing, I should probably have a thumbnail with tornadoes in it and stills from the game rather than flying a plane, because people are going to think it's an aviation channel, not a tornado channel. I guess it's a little bit of both. So yeah, that's just that. Let me drag this up here. And is it showing that actually? Let's see, Streamlabs desktop. Is it capturing my entire screen? One way to check. Let's just run. Yeah, you can see everything down there. All right. Sorry, I'll stop faffing on and we'll get going with.
My AirPods ran out of battery instantly. It's supposed to have been charging for the last however long. Right.
So just your mic. Okay, I know. It's probably selected my AirPod microphone instead of my desktop microphone. Let's check. Device. No, don't use the default device.
Use microphone array. There. Is that better? Is that coming through better now? Sometimes it defaults to my AirPod microphone, which is... It's really terrible. It's meant for, like, low-quality calls. Oh, cool. Thank you. Right. So, I want to do a little bit of housekeeping before starting the stream. So, let me just pull up Storm Protection Center page, because I know I get people from all over the world joining these streams. Don't normally do this, but I've got Ryan Hall on mute in the background on my phone, just so I can see what's going on there. And I'm hearing like tornado warnings, severe thunderstorm warnings going off constantly. So if you're watching this live, obviously, if you're watching this 2 weeks from now, this won't apply. If you're within any of these risk areas, so what's this? Missouri, Illinois, a little bit of Arkansas. I guess anywhere in the risk area doesn't have to be the high risk. Please have a way of receiving notifications, whether that's on your phone, weather radio, TV in the background. The last thing I want to do is be a distraction while we chase virtual tornadoes while somebody has an actual tornado bearing down on them. So if you're in this risk area, it's not just tornadoes. You've got strong winds, you've got hail, flash flooding, lightning, lots of other hazards which are inconvenient, even if they're not necessarily deadly, like you leave your truck out on the driveway because you're watching the stream and then you get 12-inch hail, world record, and your truck gets absolutely smashed in. Just today, I can see there's a lot of weather, a lot kicking off all at once now, so please, if you're anywhere in these risk areas, please have a way of receiving warnings and don't let me distract you from what's going on right now. So, getting into what the stream's actually about. Yes, so I've been working on a main menu. So I had a bit of a chat with ChatGPT, because it's good like that. and I was saying, like, I need to get this game into a state which is marketable. Like, in terms of, we've got the old version of the game people are familiar with, and a new version of the game, and at some point I'm going to have to push this new version as, like, overwriting the old version, and then we're going to have this little button down here which lets you play the old version eventually. But it's not necessarily marketable, but presentable. And the first thing people were presented with was just a blank screen, kind of no real UI design, just saying, choose the size of your map, then you click that, then you're presented with this editor, and you've got to, like, generate a map and customize the tiles. And then you've got to go and then customize the forecast, then you go and customize all the game settings. And while a lot of people do enjoy the customization of the game, and that is one of the goals for this, we do also just need a nice way to go straight into the game. So I've created a main menu here, and I've got some slight VHS effects added. They may not be too noticeable right now, and I actually think the shader isn't working as intended. Yeah, I think VHS mode stopped working. I'll check on that. But yeah, very much going for the 90s UI theme. So I thought one of the biggest things I could do is get a proper main menu, career mode. So you've got the choice between career mode and sandbox mode. These buttons don't do anything right now, neither do these. And I wanted to bring back the spinning sensors because it looks cool. That's a cool shout out to Twister. And just so that adds some scrolling data in the background as well. I do also want to add, I just can't find the sound effect file, like little like data like in the background just quietly as the data scrolls by, just to add that extra element to the game. But yeah, the whole idea is just to make this more presentable so it's ready to transition and be the primary version of the game. So when you launch it in Steam, it'll open up this, then you'll have the option for the 2023 version. I should probably add a button for the Tornado design tool as well. But tonight what we're going to play is the career mode, and this changes things up a bit. So let me jump into it and show how this works. So you jump into career mode, and it first will generate a map, and that's your map. You don't get to choose, just like in real life. You might target your chase area, but you don't necessarily have control over how well the road network's designed there. So you start off with what I call 10 skips. So you can choose to skip up to 10 times. Once you've used them, you're then stuck with that day. But you can earn skips. So when you cache in your data, when you hit analyze data and it's analyzing your samples, each sample gives you a 1 in a 250 chance of earning an additional skip. So what we can do is we can skip and choose a forecast which looks more interesting. So this is looking good. And at the beginning of each week it generates a new map as well. So each week's a new target area. I think add a face cam. I wouldn't mind adding a face cam, just I've got just my laptop webcam. I've got my laptop webcam. It's not the highest quality. I also don't have the best lighting set up in here. Just with where I am in the house, sometimes I have people walking in and out of the room while I'm streaming, and they don't necessarily want to be on the stream. So yeah, not ruling it out, and I can definitely do in the future. I think a couple of things I need to invest in are either a good microphone or a good headset, and then maybe a dedicated space where I can stream, because right now it's just my desk that I have. So yeah, not a doxing thing at all. Like if you go through my channel, you'll see there's a video of me doing that flight simulator I was showing earlier. I'm not trying to keep my identity a secret. I just don't go around advertising it either. But jumping back to this, so this looks like it would be a good chase. So we'll just hit chase and we're straight in. So what was that? 1 click on the career mode, maybe 2 clicks on the skip chase day, and then a 3rd or 4th click to chase, and we're right into the game. So let's get the lights on. Let's take the Cape and Helicity overlays off. We want to drive north. What do I have my field of view set to? Desync. Let me just check all this. Yeah, that looks fine. Let's do the in-car view. So you'll see when you look at your data page, you also have skips, and you can earn additional skips in the same way you earn anomalies. So we're going to continue to try and level up in career mode. Yeah, I wonder if I could use AI or something, so if it detects the door opening behind me, I know somebody's about to walk in. It can just automatically blank the webcam. I know I've just had a notification from Ring. I was checking out my Ring doorbell earlier, and it's got a bunch of like pro features now. So, like for example, if my wife's coming back, I don't need to get a notification. So it's got like some AI thing where it realizes, oh, that's your wife. Don't need a notification. It can even detect suspicious activity. So like, somebody walking past your door at 12 in the afternoon is a bit different from somebody standing in your garden at 3 in the morning. So it can detect that as well. Well, this storm is growing quickly. Let's have a look. Reflectivity, that'll give us a good idea of where the tornado's going to spin up. So yeah, I wonder if there's some way of doing that. Just want to let you know how much I enjoy the tile map creator. I think it's a brilliant way to keep the map interesting and different every playthrough. Oh, thank you, yeah. So, that's the tricky thing with the game. I'm trying to design something which appeals to as many people as possible. So, a lot of people like customization, which is why I've got the map editor and a lot of options to customize the game. But some people just want to jump in and play, and I think forcing people through the full customization workflow when you first start the game isn't the most engaging thing. So I want something which engages people as soon as they see the menu. They say, new version of the game. Hopefully they think this looks better than the old version of the game. Career mode seems to be the most obvious default to click on. It's at the top of the menu, and then within a couple of clicks you're in the game, and there's that low amount of resistance from being presented with a completely new UI to being in the game and playing. So let's see how am I doing. Data, 4 anomalies. Next rank is Masters at 8 anomalies. I'm a third of the way there. Velocity. Let's have a look. Oh, okay, right. So our couplet's here. Right, so let's do the little mouse trick. So I'm going to put my mouse right in the center of this couplet. I'm going to give it a few minutes. Not a few minutes, say 30 seconds a minute. So, let's say it's weakening. Is it weakening? Let's jump out the truck. Where's the wall cloud? Oh no, it's not weakening. It's moving directly over the top of us, so you don't get that resolution of where the couplet is. I think we need to put a bit of distance. Well, I don't think we need the radar. We can see where it's going to drop the tube. So, let's make some progress on it. Get ahead. Add rain curtains, rain facial obstruction when you get too close. Rain reactive wind. More storm features. Yeah, it's because each one of those things is probably a couple of weeks worth of work. Maybe not the rain curtains, but something like wrapping the tornado in rain. I'll need a way of volumetrically rendering that rain. Oh, getting a tornado touching down already. So I need a way to volumetrically render that rain so that it does obscure the tornado, and that means customizing the shader which I use to place density in the rendering area. I need a way to control that. I need to tweak the amount, so it'll like be like the speed, the density, and so on. Right, let's see. Right, we can see the tornado here. So if we put our mouse on it, see which way it's moving. So it looks to be, what's that, more east-northeast? So let's keep the trail on. I reckon if we cut across here, that gives us good north, south, and even a bit of easterly option. It's looking a bit transparent. Have I got the tornado quality set to Ultra? Yeah, I'm not sure what's happening there. Oh, okay, that's not the tornado, that's the debris cloud. Look, there's the funnel there. That's all debris. Yeah, it is meant to be less dense. Right. Let's get positioned for an intercept. Close the tailgate. But yeah, each of those things will eventually come in time. I think what my next feature I want to work on is the raindrops on the glass. So first thing I'll need to do is, you might notice that the glass actually only renders on one side, so you don't actually see anything in this view. It's this view where you can see the sunlight and everything reflecting off it. So what we need to do is make the glass double-sided, which is easy enough to do. We need to go south here. Yeah, I think we need to go south. And then add the rain effects to it. Yeah, again, the rain reacting to the wind, I'll have to think how to do it. It is a particle system, it is customizable. I think one thing I want to have is like mist getting kicked up from the ground when the winds start to get strong. I think this is a really good spot here. I haven't really planned an escape route though, so hopefully it doesn't hunt. I think once that tower starts to blow away, I think it's time to escape, and I think we'll escape down that road. Let me just get ready to make our escape. I think I might need to escape a little bit earlier than I was planning. Is it just me or something not looking quite right with the tornadoes? I don't know if it happens to be just that one, but something just doesn't look right. I don't know if I've accidentally changed something since I've been working on the game. Yeah, there's like no real rotation in there, is there? Could be as well if we look at the strength. What is it? F1, maybe F2. Maybe the wind speed just needs to pick up a little bit. Did we actually get any data off that? No, we got nothing. Let's do a quick recall. Let's go for a better intercept this time. We'll go off-road. Yeah, I think that's the issue. It's not rotating. So I think I need to have like a minimum amount of rotation, and then as the wind speed picks up, then make the rotation rate match the wind speed. So I think I'm starting to see a bit more rotation now in it, but it's still very much vertical winds. Yeah, no, I don't get that. There we go. It's only getting 30-mile-an-hour winds here, but we do need to escape off-road. Is it just turn north right when I've decided to deploy there? Okay. This is getting a bit close. Yeah, we're going to do a quick recall and we'll deploy on this road once we get to it. Push for age verification. So I do try and stay out of political topics, but just as a quick change of pace, I think the intent behind it is good in terms of we should be making sure that like children, teenagers aren't accessing things which aren't age appropriate. However, think having that applied with these very questionable age verification companies where we don't know how secure the data is, there's potential for massive violations of privacy and blackmailing, all sorts. So I think, yes, there should be age verification, but how that is implemented still, I think when it comes to government implementing things, oh, that's not good. When it comes to government implementing things, not the most effective way to get things done, I guess I can say. Right, it's coming for us. Luckily it's quite weak, so we won't lose too much data if it gets us. Quick recall, quick deploy. Uh-oh. Come on. Where's the road? It should just be to our left. It's starting to get us. But because the strongest circulation's at the edge and we're going towards the centre, I'm actually quite safe staying in the middle of it. Quick recall, quick deploy. Right, so you be careful driving through the tornado wall here. Oh, hello Neon, sorry. Trying to multitask here by not getting killed by this tornado while keeping an eye on the real world weather and monitoring the stream health and looking at the chat. So, apologies if I'm a bit scattered here with my attention. Hello Neon, sorry. Oh, and hello Rainbow as well. Sorry, I'm trying my best to get caught up with the chat here. Right, oh, cool. Let's watch that. House get disintegrated. There we go. Call, quick deploy. That tornado got strong quick as soon as it decided to hunt. Does the up adhere to the vortex intensity as well? No, it doesn't. So the the rotation does, that matches the actual tornado wind speed, the angular circumferential wind speed, but the vertical doesn't yet. I have wired that in, which I probably should. But that is right on our tail. Not giving up. Go for a wider tornado, match the rotation speed. Yeah, so what I do is I take the radius of the tornado, the wind speed, and then calculate the angular velocity from that. The upwind rotation goes at the speed of the wind relative to the swirl. I also use the swirl ratio to decide what the vertical rate should be. Yeah, companies want to collect first bit. Yeah, there's... Okay, it's stopped hunting now. We've got a bit more margin. Yeah, I think there's... I guess with everything tending towards AI, you need lots of data for that. And when it comes to like advertising and things, having obviously millions of data points of personal data is very valuable. So governments and companies will try and get hold of that. But yeah, the biggest concern is people's rights to privacy. Okay, let's figure out which direction it's going. I think we need to reassess. I think it's like almost stood still. It's just crawling along this road here. I think right. I think we've got time to go double back on ourselves, go south, try and beat it at this intersection. If it looks like we're not going to beat it to that intersection, we can go off road, cut across there. Not a manoeuvre I'd ever attempt in real life. I could actually, so when you say turbulent, there is actually a literal turbulence slider. um, for the fluid simulator for the tornadoes, so I could actually link it to that. I also recommend making the funnels cone a lot more. Actually, I'm not sure if the sentence got cut off there, if I'm reading it wrong. Make the funnels cone a lot more because, to be honest, I feel I haven't seen exactly that too much. So, I don't know if you've missed a key word out of that sentence or if my brain's just not processing it right. You can have the tornadoes be more cone shaped, so that like the bottom radius is smaller compared to the top radius. Right, so let's just have a look. I think we want to place ourselves about here. So let's just keep an eye on our positioning. Expansion at the top of the funnel. Yeah, how do I... Right now, I generate a random coefficient, which is just the top radius is a proportion of the bottom radius. So I think what I need to do is just make the max range just randomized for every tornado, just make that the highest value that it can be when it's in the random range, just a bit lower. But we're getting more rotation now in the tornado flow. Oh, it's curving south on us. Right, we're going to have to go off-road, which means we're going to need some buffer room because we're going to be driving incredibly slow off-road. Have I got enough? We've got some basic data. Let's just keep that for now. Upgrades. Yeah, no, can't upgrade the off-road speed yet, so we're going to be crawling along at 27 miles an hour here. The tornado's probably, I'm guessing, since it's not sure, it shows the size, I think, once it gets to 1/3 of a mile wide. So I'm guessing this tornado's about 1/5 to 1/4 mile wide. So it's extremely laminar tube-like shape you get now. Extremely bad tornadoes. Okay, see, I would have thought it's the other way. I would have thought the more turbulent. So the stronger it gets, the more turbulent the tornado would look. Like there'd be more noise kind of carved out of it, more cloud-like. Okay, let's see. We don't want to be this. We want to be on this corner here. But I think we're getting. So F1, F2, F3, I think we're starting to see some F4 strength winds in there. So we want to position ourselves on this bit. Right, I think here, let's not do a quick deploy. For the sake of drama, let's do a manual deployment. Let's change the thing as well, let's collect wind data. Oh, I guess we're collecting pressure data now. And let's escape to the east. And then let's plan, where do I want to go? I might actually want to be down here. See, it doesn't look like there's an easy path down there. What I could do is take this right here, gives us a little bit more buffer room, and then try and bridge that gap there. I'm forgetting I haven't been using the probe cam this chase either. Okay, yeah, if you send the link to the video, it's useful to have visual references and actually be able to correlate that with actual wind speeds, so I can match it in the game as close as I can. Got some debris flying there. Right, please don't hunt right now. Let's look at the probe camera as well. Oh, I think we're right in it. I think that was a good placement. I think we're right in the centre. Should we look up into the eye? The eye of the tornado looks like. Oh, I've just crashed into a tree. Right. Let's see where I'm going. Right, yeah. Perfect. So, tornado's nice and slow moving, gives us plenty of opportunities to intercept and collect data. Let's have a look at the data I've got. Okay, we've got up to F3 strength there. So this is why the career mode's more challenging, because you've just got to skip the day and kind of just make a judgment call of whether that day is worth chasing based on the cape and helicity. Oh, watch out, we've got our flying ninja star here. Right, I think, let's see, probe camera, what's it? Alright, I think we'll recall that and go for another intercept. So I think we may already be in the path. Yeah. I think we'll want to be off-road slightly. It looks like it's curving though. It's not just going southeast, it's curving more south. So I think we might actually even be in a prime spot. Let's collect some different data this time. Because remember, the reason I'm not cashing out is you get a bonus multiplier for each one of these that's populated. Just got to think in terms of escape route if it decides to hunt. I guess south's the only real option. Going the right way. I hope it doesn't just miss. If it does, we can always recall and deploy further down here. Get some photos. 8th of March 1990 at 12:32 PM. Okay, the camera's starting to shake. I think, right, let's get in the truck. Quick recall, quick deploy, probe camera, let's point it at the tornado. Zoom in a bit. Then I think I need to start driving. Leave me a little bit late to escape there. Oh, okay, right, started to hunt, right. I need to turn the probe camera off. Need to see the road, right. Let's plan our escape while we drive. So, I think we'll follow this. Oh, sorry, cows. It's going to follow me and then, as a side effect, probably take those cows out. I do want to add a mechanism to the game where you can rescue cows, but all they'll do is stack up on top of your truck, and that weight will get added to your truck. So if you save like 8 cows, you're going to have like, I don't know, how much does a cow weigh? A lot. So you probably have a few extra tons if you save like 10 cows. No, I want it. Oh, I missed it. Right. We're going to come down here and then go like that. And we're going to do quick recall, quick deploy. Might as well make the best of a bad situation and collect as much data as we can. I don't want to risk trying to turn left on one of these roads because we can only go like 40 miles an hour. So this should hopefully give us enough buffer room so that it doesn't catch up with me while I go along here. Ah, I shouldn't have gone off road. Right. My plan is go along here and then go up there, but it's moving so quickly. Got all those bales of hay disappearing, so right, I'm going to go first person view for this so I can do some proper steering and control of the truck. I can't see it. Go. Then I can go back up here, and then turn right along that road I was planning to take as an escape before. it's worried is whenever I change direction, that's when if I'm moving in a straight line directly away, it's fine. Once I change direction, that's where things get tricky. Okay, it's died down there. Stop hunting. Which way is it going? It looks like it's going southeast again. Yeah, well, I have seen there's been a lot of debate. In the UK, I think we've been one of the first places to implement age verification. And yeah, I've seen, I do follow the drama. I just try not to talk about it because I don't want to put a political divide in a game that's meant to be about tornadoes. So I won't go too much into my own opinions of it. I just think the intent's good, but like you say, it seems a lot more about either gathering data or there's also that potential of data getting leaked. Like there's always news of companies getting hacked, data being leaked, and that information can be used against people. So yeah, definitely. I think I'm not a fan of the way it's currently being implemented, where it's just outsourced to random companies and we've got no idea what they're doing with the data, how it's being used, how it's secured, is it anonymized in some way. Because for example, the way passwords work, so I've done some back-end development before for different websites, web apps. When you type in your password on a website and hit submit, the website doesn't get your password as plain text. What happens is it goes to what's called a hashing function. How am I going to... Yeah, I'm going to have to... It goes to a hashing function, which essentially it's a one-way function. So you put a string in and it makes it unrecognizable. It modifies the string in a way. But if you put the same string in, you get the same hash. But what you can't do very easily at all is, given that hash, figure out what the password is. So when you authenticate on a website, they never see your actual password. That gets hashed, and they compare the password hash to what was stored. So when you first sign up, your password will be hashed. That'll be stored in the database. But nobody knows what your original password was. And then when you sign in, they hash that same password. So I think they should be able to do something like that with your ID. So you show proof of ID, but they don't store your name, your address, photo, anything. That should get hashed in some way so that it's unrecognizable, and nothing can be done with that data. But if you provide that same proof of age, it'll generate the same secure hash, and they'll know, okay, this person's age verified, but we don't need to store their actual personal information on file. I think I'm getting a bit too close there. I wanted to do an intercept in this field somewhere. I still think I'm outpacing the tornado. But yeah, even when I was doing research, when you get data with real people in, it has to go through this whole authorization process, and then you can also have something that's pseudo anonymizing it, where you can use the data to do research, but you can't necessarily map that onto real world people. So you can't. So essentially, you can't identify people from the data, but the data is still useful for research. I think we need something like that. Yeah, it's a third of a mile wide now. I'm trying to race it to the other side of this field. I did notice a question on the Discord asking why the grass disappears. That's something that's not completely in my control. The engine I'm using for rendering vegetation is just a bit unstable, but the developer doesn't offer any support for it. At least not without paying something ridiculous, like I think several hundred of $1,000s a year for ongoing support. This game just simply doesn't have the budget for that. So I do need to change the vegetation rendering engine, Just the other challenge is the way the Unity Asset Store works is there's not really any refunds. So if the rendering engines for vegetation tend to be quite expensive, and if you buy one and it's not the right thing for the job, you're kind of stuck with it. So you've purchased it, may not use it. You just got to write it off as a loss. Okay. I think it's a good intercept opportunity. Right about this is going to be close. How am I doing on data? Okay, we've got about the same amount of data, so right, we're going to stop, quick deploy, flip a UE, and then escape again. Then I think after this, what we'll do is we'll go back to the main menu and we'll randomly generate another chase stay. I think we're safe here. Sound like famous last words. But we can watch the tornado and probe camera. Yeah, look, the VHS effects aren't actually rendering. I need to fix that. Must be some shader include which I've missed. Look. That doesn't look like VHS to me, like it's changed something. But it's not VHS effect. Even that doesn't look like the VHS effect. How are we doing on data? Got a lot of F1 samples. Right, I think we're safe here. Got the hair going flying, we'll see the builds. I wish the vegetation would render. The game does look very barren without any vegetation, doesn't it? Is that water tower about to go? I think what's happened is the VHS effects I've chosen for the main menu have somehow overridden what's in the main game. I'm not sure how that would have happened. Power flash. Very bright one there. So, is the probe still getting data yet? There we go. Let's analyse. Let's see how we've done. So, do we get any anomalies? No, but we're under skip. So that's an additional day we can skip. Just watching those power lines get wrecked there. Yeah, but we're still no closer to getting our master's degree. Let's see, can I afford any more upgrades? I don't really want to add weights to my truck. So I think what we'll do, we'll go back to the main menu. And we'll generate a new day. Ooh! That'll be an interesting one. No need to use any skips. Let's start a new chase day. Yeah, so I do want to add towns. I've got a plan in my head of how I'm going to do that. I'm going to have a town tile, and then what I can do is extrapolate the tornado's position, and if it's going to intersect the town tile, I know which other tiles are also connected to that, so I can kind of highlight like in a red border, like, or highlight in red, like, and have it like flashing and show like the whole town is in danger. And then you'll have to go drive to the town and sound the siren, and then you'll get alerts of people's lives you've saved or fatalities. Just like you did in the other game with the little red, green pop-ups which happen, and little text which pops over, be using that. So it's that and the rain effect on the wind screen which I want to do next. And I just need to obviously finish the main menu off to get it more presentable. Where does the main menu music originate? So, I can't remember. I bought an asset which just came with a load of sound effects built into it, and some of it was essentially action game music, So there's 4 different sound files. So I used one for the previous game, and since this is a rebuild, I didn't want to use the exact same theme music as the original game. I wanted to set it apart a bit. So there's 4 tracks in total. I tested out the other 3, and this is the one which I thought sounded the best. I was also thinking of adding some dramatic music in chase mode, so when the tornado's helping you, you're trying to escape, I think maybe adding some epic music there as well could help as well. Just help add to the atmosphere. As far as time, let's go. How big will it be? So it'll be. So what I'm going to do is create like a town tile. So that's 500 meters by 500 meters. So it'll probably fit several houses on there. But then, because the way the random map generation works, I guess you could potentially have an entire map completely made of town cells. So you could have like a 30-mile by 30-mile town. But yeah, I do need to create cells of different densities. So obviously, having a few sparse like mobile homes is different from having some tightly packed houses, and that's different from having some high rises and more sort of like office block type buildings that you'd see in more of a dense town. So yeah, I do plan on having all that from high density towns to low density. Just I've got to stop getting it all planned in my head and actually sit down and get it implemented and added to the game. Just gonna get a drink here. I do have some destructible buildings. They're horribly inefficient though. So in Unity you've got something called batching. So if you've got our first sign of a tornado there. Refuse velocity. Which way is it moving? Turn that off now. Is it north? It's going straight towards us. So let's head north. Yeah, that's pushing out quickly. I set tornado formation speed to medium and cell formation speed to quick. But it seems to be much faster than I remember. Yeah, so I do have some, but yeah, I did have some, so there's something called batching, so you've got materials. So if you've got like a 3D model made of lots of different pieces and they're the same material, it can kind of be batched together, so it's rendered as a single code to the GPU. But the way these were designed, the materials were designed in such a way that it had to render like every little block, even when it was split into lots of pieces, so the frame rate was horrible with it. I could probably optimize it. I do have some destructible buildings. There's the very, 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 very early version of, it's called Twister Research and Rescue, way back in the day. This was like this was before even the version which was released on Steam. It was the version before that, where the tornadoes were rendered using like these spheres of cloud, and I had no idea how to use Unity or anything. Oh, that looks like that one looking a lot more photogenic than the previous one. Look at that. Let's look at the motion in there already. So yeah, so I can add like, I do have some models for like some like blocks of like flats, not necessarily high rises, but blocks of like flats which can be destructible. But I think what I could do is use the AI 3D model generator, generate a skyscraper, and then fragment it in the editor, and have it destruct in the game like that. I think would look cool. I just have to keep performance in mind. Obviously, the more destructible objects, the more physics, the more rendering there is. So I have to keep that in mind. But yeah, I think add it to the game, and then people. Oh, it's going to get. I just ran out of battery. I need to invest in a wired head. There should be more music depending on other things, like how strong the tornado you're chasing is, what its impact. Like dramatic music when the tornado destroys a town, and terrifying music is above 200 miles an hour. Yeah, I just have to think of the cues so people aren't. I don't want people to just wonder, oh, why is music playing? but have like so like if you get the notification, it is coming for you, and then you have some dramatic music playing. It's obvious why, but it may not be obvious. Oh, the music's playing because the winds are over 200 miles an hour. What I could do though as well, if you get the notification, like in the old game, remember when you'd get like the bing or some sort of like pitch slide effect, and that would let you know that it's heading towards a town. So it could do the same thing when the tornado is heading towards a town. Also play theme music. Yeah, I like that idea. I think a massive compliment. The Katie Winwood tornado is one of my favourite visually looking tornadoes. So I appreciate you comparing it to that. One thing I've noticed, minor bug, if you open the laptop, first person character starts just gliding. I haven't figured out what's causing that yet. Are we in the path? One thing I want to do actually, I just realised today there's several scenes from Twister which were filmed. So the map of the previous game is based on a few filming locations for Twister, but I found some other filming locations since which I think might still fall on that map. So if we run after this, I could fire up the old version of the game and we can go sightseeing, and I can explain which scenes were filmed where on the old map. I think we've got the F5 scene with Jonas might be within range. The Gorsh held tractor implement place, I think, is on that map as well. Then you got Twister Hill, and I'm trying to think what else. Those are the three main ones which I can remember. Alright, I think we can set up for an intercept along there. I just want to give it some time to intensify a bit. I think what I'll do is I don't think I'm going to add a tutorial to the game. I think it'll be a hints-based system, so like if you're in the path of a tornado, it'll say like press tab and click quick deploy to deploy your probe. Or if you're standing next, I guess you don't really need to hit, kind of like what we've got here. So if you stand next to it, it's like you've got the hand to kind of indicate you can click and drag. Other app. I just had these on charge as well. So you can have them charged. How's the audio? I'm going to turn the game down a bit because I guess the stream will already transmit the audio of the game. Yeah, so what was I talking about? Yeah, a hint-based system. So then if the tornado's head towards a town, you'll get like a prompt saying, like, travel 500 meters to the nearest siren and press E to sound the siren to warn the residents. And then it'll be like that thing where you can toggle say, like, don't show this prompt again. Because I think that's a bit more engaging. I don't think people like sitting through tutorials after reading big amounts of text, like large amounts of text. Right, this is cutting it close. It looks like it's moving more north now. Just don't hunt right now, please, because I've got nowhere to escape. I'm off-road, and then my only on-road is a slow road, and it's a windy mountain road, so not ideal if it starts hunting me. Yeah, I can't, so I won't be able to add any copyrighted music or anything from Twisters, or it's going to be copyrighted, so I can't add it to a game. But I can choose music which kind of fits the vibe. So, kind of like how the main menu music is, kind of like that orchestral, dramatic sounding, same with Twister. So I can have music which fits the vibe of those movies, but I can't use songs from the movies directly. It's not without licensing them. That'd be a cool spot to observe from, actually. Reverse. See our probe there. I think I was safe there. I think we're safe. But that's like a direct hit on the probe. up onto this road. Let's plan the next intercept, because we've got hill after hill after hill. So I'm thinking we might actually. Yeah, the VHS effect's definitely broken. I need to figure out what I've done there. Yeah, so if we double back on ourselves, let's do a quick recall. If we double back on ourselves, we can probably go for an intercept up here. So this will be fun, trying to race the tornado to the nearest intercept point. Yeah, you gotta watch out for copyrights. Like with this truck, which definitely isn't a Jeep, I've tried to remove all branding which labels it as a possible Jeep. And then I guess that looks really cool, doesn't it? That just looks cool. I like that tornado. And I guess they might still be within the rights to say, well, it's still a model of one of our trucks, even if you remove branding, please can you no longer use that? And I'd probably have to pay the 3D artists who made this originally to then modify it enough so it's different enough so it's not recognisable as a brand name truck. Right, let's plan our intercept here. So I think just go north as fast as we can and then east, and then we should be able to get set up around there. Crossing the highway but slightly wider. Yeah, I like how I've completely randomised it, yet even with the randomisation, they can still resemble like well-known tornadoes. Yeah. Looks like today could potentially be a historic day. We've got a lot of populated areas and the moderate risk and the condition intensity 2 on top of that. Not a good combination. Yeah, I'm just looking at Reinhold's stream here in the background. 10 seconds behind live. Looks like some tornado watches going out. Right. Okay. So I think what right this. So if not this right, the next right. Let's click the point. Might as well earn money while we're getting chased our deaths. So you've got moderate risk combined with condition intensity group 2 combined with potentially highly populated areas. Today could go like maybe one of those historic days, but sadly not in a good way. Not like strong tornadoes, but then strong tornadoes with big populated areas, which is not what we want to see. Down the road. Copyright. So there's a difference between copyright and patent law. So copyright, essentially, as soon as you create something original, you own the copyright to that. You don't have to file anything. Nothing to do. Patent law is different. So I think patents can be even patents are more. You can change inventions, ideas just enough to avoid it. Copyright, I think if it's based on anything. If it's not your completely own work, I think it's will be in violation of copyright. But like I say, I'm not a lawyer. What I try and do is I just try and keep everything above board, do things properly, not use copyright material, try not to use patent or trademark designs. Did I get any data there? Yeah, the intercepts haven't been great on this chase. Right, let's try and intercept along here. So not this left, the next left. bit more of the Orphan Farm. I recognise that family name. What am I doing? Yeah, maybe after this I can find some clips and obviously make sure that I can use them. So there's like Creative Commons or something like that. Was it? Like you can clip things if it's for like creative use, but you have to change enough of it. Like somebody couldn't just rip the source code for this game, make the truck red instead of yellow, and then sell it as their own game. Like, if it's based off the original stolen copyrighted material, it doesn't matter how much you've changed. It's not a pass. With patents, though, it's different. I know that because I've gone through the process of filing some myself. It's tricky because when you file a patent, you want to describe in a way that's general enough so that other people can't kind of skirt around it. Then if you're too wide, you'll then start infringing on other patents. So you want to try and describe as generally as you can without stepping on other people's patent intellectual property. But I'll just describe the inventions and let the lawyers worry about that at work. They're very good at what they do. I wonder if there's some way, not necessarily AI, but some way of once you've taken a photo of a tornado, like classifies it based on which tornado it looks like most. So I think what I'll do, how long have I been streaming for? Oh, an hour already. That's gone by really fast. I think I'll go for one more intercept, and then if you want, I can show some Twister filming locations and where they are in the original game. Go for one more intercept, and I think I'll change the data type as well. Try and get pressure data this next time around. Right. I think we can deploy manually here. Look like pressure data. I think the water tank isn't it the 2013 one where you got the water tank in the foreground as well. I think that really adds to the effect if it's the tornado I'm thinking of. Yeah, I might just create it, but I'm really bad at remembering like historical tornadoes. Like I recognise all of them, but forget like place names, the year, and things like that. I think I should make a bunch of flashcards just to remember the significant historical tornadoes. Vegetation's coming back, which is nice. Oh yeah, it's because we're loaded into new games. Look at that beast. Yeah, I've got to say the Moore 2013 is one of the most... Well, it was one of my favourite chases to watch when it goes... It's also really sad as well, and I think it's from a few different angles. There's one where there's a guy who's just like... either on the verge of tears, if not crying in his truck, to say like it's tearing up the town, it's tearing up the town. And, like it's really sad to listen to, but it's equally like mesmerising because you just see this rope go from like a rope to a wedge. It's like something that's ridiculous, like 60-90 seconds or something like that. You have a rope and then you get a wedge really quickly. It just goes violent, just right through the town. Like it's really intense footage. Really intense footage. Alright, I'll outrun it, and then we'll go do some historic storm chasing. And then, sorry, not historic, but Twister sightseeing in the old game. And what I'll do is I'll pull up. Let's see, how can I do this? I guess I can show stills from Twister without playing it. I think it should be alright. And then I can show the street view and then show what it looks like in the game. skateboard to the west. So to get here. Quick deploy. And escape. Yeah, so this isn't going to be ready to push an update tonight, but I do want to get the update out soon. I need to see what's going on with the VHS effects. So notice they don't look quite right in the main menu. They don't look right now in VHS mode or on the Pro camera. More prelim death count. Yeah, I guess silver lining, isn't it? Like the death count of 24, like that's obviously better than 90. But if you think each death represents a massive impact to a family, like that's people's family members, children, brothers, sisters, aunts, uncles. That's a funeral that needs planned. That's a lot of grief. Every single one of those numbers is a massive impact. Which is sad. Which is why a tornado has been detected, spotted by trained observers in Killarney. This is real life right now. What to do, go to the safe room immediately, interior room on the lowest floor, stay away from windows and outside walls. With your head and neck, with protection, get under sturdy furniture if possible. Where's that? Let me just see where this is. Basement, a storm cellar, interior bathroom closet, and a stairwell on the lowest floor. Let me try and figure out where this is. I just see this on the screen. Never sheltered under an overpass, do not stay in a mobile home, do not try to outrun a tornado in a car, never open windows, it's a myth. Yeah, perpetuated by night twisters. After the storm, I feel clear. Yeah, where is this? So, I'm just seeing Reinhold Street here, there's a tornado being observed. Stay safe. So, where's that? PDS Tornado Watch. Look northeast of Jonesboro. Madison, Oakville, and Shelby counties. Yeah, so I'd say I'm just trying to look at the stream on a tiny screen here to summarise what's happening. I'd say it does look like there's an observed tornado and a PDS tornado watch out right now. So yeah, make sure you've got alerts and ways of staying informed right now. There's real life tornadoes happening right now. Okay, I think what I'll do is analyse the data, then 2 more skips. Still only run enough for any sort of upgrades. Engine power, that's a good one to have. I do want to increase the off-road speed though, so that's saving more money. Right. Add alternative types. Yeah, I do want to add like multi-vortex. I don't think the quit button does anything. Credits don't either. I need to add people to credits. You know who you are. Discord 2023 version. Right. Let's do some sightseeing. So what I'm going to do is I need to load the old version of the game. There's not a wedge at peak intensity. It's a stovepipe. It was only 85 meters across. That's probably. Do you think that's why it was peak intensity? Because it was narrower, the rotational velocity was a lot higher. Right. It's been a while since I've streamed this, hasn't it? Is that show? Let me check that's showing up. Where's my Streamlabs? Yeah, it's showing up. Right. I feel it's only right to erase progress. Right. Truck has to be yellow truck. Forecast mode random. Mode. Fast. Let's disable death for this because we're doing sightseeing. Let's put it down to 1, maybe 2 cells. Swirl ratio being lower, intensity going higher induces a lower swirl ratio. Use constructor induces more strength. Yeah, so say you kind of got your positive feedback loop there. Right, what I'm going to do is I'm going to do some sightseeing. And I'm going to show where in the game these locations are, what they look like on Street View, and then what they look like in the movie Twister. So let me remind myself how this all works. Right. Here's the map. So Pilot Hill is actually Pilot Mound. So what I can do here, let's pull this in here. So we're going to go maps.google.com. So Pilot Hill is actually Pilot Mound. Stratford, there is actually a town called Stratford in real life, except it's, so you can see here, what's Pilot Hill is actually, so Pilot Mound is actually here. I've called it Silverfield in the game, but that's actually Pilot Mound. I call Pilot Hill. Silverfield's actually, I think it's called Goldfield, somewhere nearby. Dayspring. What was that based on? Oh, I think that was Dayton. That turned to Dayspring. Then Stratford is actually up here, but I've moved it down into. Let's see. So that there is that there. Maybe I added that fictional road, but I don't think I did. Alright, so first one we've got, where are we? We're up here. So let's go and visit over there. So this here, so roads, acres, and then we want to get to here. So I'm trying to map what's in the game to what's in real life. So I think we need to head west. We'll get across to here and we'll do our first bit of sightseeing. So, west. Yeah, the sound effects are a lot different, aren't they? Not as good. Still Eltertog lights, it illuminates the entire area. Camera feels a lot more laggy, even though I think you can customize that in settings. Vehicle sensitivity to 8, I'm assuming. Right. Oh yeah, and there's no map, you've got it. Yeah, I forgot you've got to stop to check the map, haven't you? So what we're going to do, we're going to visit some real world filming locations on Twister, so you've kind of got fantasy meets reality meets fantasy again. Disable death, so I can kind of just drive off-road. That's one thing I do need in this game, though. I need birds tweeting. I think I turn the headlights off, they're annoying me a bit. I think you still hit C. We've got the Silicon Graphics laptop there, which I do kind of want to make a reappearance as well. Let's stop and figure out where we are. So next update, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Okay, we want to be heading west. Oh, there's already a cell. We're heading north. We want to head west. So we want to head towards that cell. Yeah, I'm going to play the original game and I'm going to show where some real life scenes, like where the real life locations where scenes were filmed in Twister. I just realised today I was looking at the map. So there, yeah, do you see that sound effect there? That's when I can actually start playing music in the new version of the game. Well, that VHS is very low quality. Right, let's keep heading west. And we've got rain starting. Oh, and this does have the windshield rain effect. So we'll get to see those again, but I've got a completely brand new updated asset and the windshield rain effects. You don't have to worry about dying. Hit Pilot Hill, so you get hit as well. Yeah, I'm just looking, it's like the lighting's not right. I'm not happy with the texturing of the road, with the fields. Yeah, there's a lot I could polish up in this version of the game. Right, let's see where we are now. So next where there's like a 90-degree kind of double bend. So let's figure it out. So that's here. So where do we want to be? Where was it filmed? So we want to go south and then east and then... Sorry, south and then west and then north. Which way is south? South. Oh yeah, you can spam R, can't you? I feel like I can just drive without touching it. Oh god, our first tornadoes. Yeah, so to be fair, when I built this game, there's no ChatGPT, no Claude Code, everything had to be done manually. I spent months and months just creating a shader to render those tornadoes. But can't really get a good quote. $104, $60, $20. Like I say, it was a big learning curve for me as well, making this first version of the game. So it wouldn't have the second version of the game without me having made the first version originally. I think some of these houses can reappear in the new version of the game as well. I think I have to change the texture and the colouring to fit in a bit better. The texturing does look quite basic on there. We're going to visit the first location, and this is actually the most recent set of filming locations which I found. I spent almost an entire year just in my spare time trying to track these locations down. And where we're going to visit is where Jonas gets hit by the F5 tornado. So let me just check I'm in the right place here. Yep, and now we're going to head north as far as we can go without going off the edge of the map. Yeah, I was struggling with the lighting here. The weather engine kind of overrode a lot of the actual lighting effects, and I spent hours customizing those as well, trying to get it looking right. I didn't have a whole lot of creative control over it because I didn't know how to customize certain things. Yeah, it's like the grass and terrain is too reflective as well. Look at that. It's almost like glass. Market spike. Oh yeah, I forgot about those. Right, so we're going to drive as far north as we can go, and then I'll show what happened in the movie and the different film locations here. I apologize, this is quite slow, isn't it? Maybe I shouldn't have reset my thing. Maybe I can purchase some upgrades. Let's see, I've took some photos, maybe I can purchase some upgrades already. Top speed. No, I don't have enough money yet. Anyway, let's keep driving north because it's on this road. We'll have the first filming location. Maybe I'll keep the others for the streams. Let's see how far north we go. Right, I think the road runs out here. In reality, there's actually another road which runs at 90 degrees to this. So let me just... position myself. So, okay, so we are up here. Let me pull in the actual map. So we've got that junction there. So if that's that, that's that. 1 second, I'm just getting a phone call off my wife. I'll have to mute myself for 1 minute. Okay, just let me know she's on her way back. Right. Just trying to match this up. I think I may have taken some creative liberties with... Oh, no, right, so... Yeah, maybe I took some creative liberties with the road network. But that does look like that. Which means that there is that there. Which means this is probably somewhere up here. So, if we go to this spot here, so let me get the stream up. Yes, this is based on where Twister was filmed. So, you might notice there's a driveway here which leads essentially to nowhere. But if you go, so that's probably somewhere up here. It's just not quite in the game. It's just out the side of the bounds of the game. If you go back to, say, 2009 or 2008, you'll notice a house here and the driveway and like some sort of external building and these here. Now, let me pull up. Let me pull up the movie Twister, and I'm going to mute it to avoid. Come on, is Twister not opening? Computer's locking up a bit. Right, don't. Right, that's just first thing we do is mute. Right, I'm going to put this in this window here, have that in the left window. Right, so it's quite near the end. Let's just turn subtitles off. Right, here we go. So, this is Jonas's crew, the setup and the running. So this house here, so where they're standing here is this. If I zoom in, you'll actually see, maybe 2009's better. This house here is this house here. And you see you've got the external building there. It's a bit hard to see in this. And then you've got your driveway here. So this is where Jonas's crew set up, where they're running to film him. So then let's move on to the next scene. So actually, interesting thing about this house. I wanted to figure out why it had disappeared. You born in 2010. Well, I remember 2010. I was learning guitar at the time. Yeah, so if you look, then you get to... So I looked at satellite imagery, and sometime between 2011 and 2012, the house disappeared. So I wanted to figure out, it would be ironic if that house got hit by an actual tornado. It didn't. A tornado did pass a few hundred yards from this back in 2021, 2022. But that doesn't appear to be why the house disappeared. It looks like it was demolished. So I looked up like the property records, because in America, for some reason, you can just type in an address and find the entire history of everybody who owned the house, how much they sold it for. So it turns out that house and the land that it was on, and I think it's upwards of $1 million, was gifted to a cult. and that cult then immediately sold it the next month and made $1.5 million, and that corresponds with the time that the house was demolished. So what I'm guessing is somebody, and this is just me inferring stuff, this may be wrong, somebody was a member of this cult. It's a religion. I don't think it's officially classed as a cult, but then when you look up, I'm not going to name things here, but if you look it up, they're known for very coercive control, financial control, demanding people give them control of their finances. So I'm guessing is she put them in a will, so when she died, the house and property went to them. And then it was then sold, and then they mustn't have had a use for the house, and it got demolished sometime around 2011, 2012. That's what I can infer from public records. All this may be completely wrong, but the organisation I looked up that received this as a gift has some questionable practices. So yeah, that's interesting fact number one, and this is where it is, roughly somewhere around here in the game. You then get this next shot of Bill looking at the tornado. It's not this scene. There's some dialogue. It goes back and forth. They say you need to anchor the pack, yada yada. So Bill asks Jonas, like, what's your position? Where are you? What are you doing? And then we get this shot. Alright, let me pause it. Right. We get this shot of the camera panning, and I haven't been able to 100% confirm this, but I've got very good reason to believe that is around here, driving along here, looking towards this road down here. And that road down here is the road we were just on in the game. So, where's the road? Yeah, so Jonas and Eddie are actually driving down this road here. Let me show where it is. Driving this direction. The F5's off to the left there. Yes, this is where it is in the game if you want to revisit it. And it moves from the left to the right and overruns them. But I've got some stronger evidence for why that's the correct location, so let's continue watching. So you can see there's like a side road here coming off, and if I just, it'll be quicker rather than clicking it. You can see you've got the side road here coming off, which also matches up, and it's right next to the location where they filmed at that house, which makes sense. So you've got this elevated road going off to the right, so that looks like to be that road there. I don't think I added it in the game because it's a minor road. So we get this shot. Yeah, I do want to re-add like wind and birds and I don't know, maybe crickets in an evening. Make it, yeah, just that bit more immersive. I haven't figured out where this shot is, but I'm guessing it's one of these nearby fields shot from a parallel road. I haven't quite figured that out yet. So the next thing, so it's just shifting, right? So you see the road here. You've got this dark bit of tarmac. And let me just reorient myself here. That's right. So it's, yeah, if I drop this here, see, if I zoom in, you've got like this dark rectangle of tarmac right where one of the side roads is. Let's see if I can remember this. I think we'll have to go back a little bit. I'm in the right spot. Oh, sorry, it's here. Because this doesn't look like it's a full road, it looks like there's a bit of a dirt road which just ends, and I believe it was around here. Oops. Let's go back. Here we go, August 20th. There, look. So, we've got this kind of road off to the side. Which direction was it? Yeah, so there used to be a little like dirt path here off to the right. And then there's also one off to the left, and you got this dark patch of tarmac. I'm pretty sure that's that one there. Just the chances of that matching up, given how the other locations match up, seems like an incredible coincidence. So I've got a high degree of confidence for that. Then next, Jonas turns off the radio, and then you get a very brief view down the road. So let me just match this up. So the camera pans. You kind of have this sloping tree line here to the left. So I think they actually filmed this a little bit further, because you'll notice what they'll use, they'll jump around, so they'll use the same stretch of road, but scenes that are filmed next to each other tend to move around a little bit. So you can see here, you've got this down-sloping section of trees here, just a few hundred yards up the road from where we're looking. And then as he looks down the road, it matches up almost identically. So if I zoom in here, look, you've got like the patch of trees here, the buildings off to the right, the road, and then you had those trees to the left. So I'm pretty sure where they get overrun is somewhere around here. But then the strongest evidence I've got is when the truck gets lifted. Oh, actually, something funny here, actually, if you look. It's a dummy of Eddie for a few frames. So, right, this bit here, right. Look at this tree line here, and look at the silo here. That silo is actually still there. So if we go, so that's looking at this road here. So this is the real world location where this was filmed, either somewhere up here or somewhere along here. So they're driving along here, looking down this way towards Eddie, and you've got that silo to the right. Let me find. Let's go back. We need a date where there's less corn, just so we can see. Right, where is that? Look, that silo is actually still there. And if I go to some other dates, those tree lines. So I've done it in Photoshop before. I don't have it to hand right now, but that I think it's September 23rd. Those tree lines kind of match up exactly. So if I overlay this on that, like the match is exact, and that silo's been there since 1995 when they filmed it, and it's still there now. So that's the biggest clue. The tree lines match exactly. It's just a few hundred yards from where the house was filmed, and that's a definite match. And then those other indicators. So that's all. So this whole F5 scene, and this would actually place the F5 in real life over Hidden Acres Christian Centre, which actually looks like pretty nice. It's like a national park or something like that, campground. Looks like a pretty nice place, a lot nicer than what we get here in England. But it's just interesting to see that real life overlap. So we'll be here. It's heading south. It then shifts this direction and takes out Eddie. So and Jonas. So if you ever wanted to try and recreate that scene in the game, this is where you need to be, heading south here. So the house that you see is somewhere up here. The road that Bill and Joe are on is here, and then Eddie and Jonas are coming down here. So I just want to share that interesting bit. There's a few other scenes. I won't have time to go visit them in the game just now. But to give you an idea of some other scenes, let's go. Why is Alt-Tab not working? You've also got where the map's centered on, which is Twister Hill. So this is where they're driving uphill with the jumper. The Toyota's like. So they come out of this road here and turn left, and then the sensors get scattered over here. I do actually have. I give somebody one of my replica Dorothy sensors. They visited here and visited the location and actually rolled them down the hill. So I do have a sensor which got rolled downhill here, which is cool. Problem is, I can't remember which sensor it is. I should have marked it in some way because I've got other replica sensors, so I know I own one. I just don't know which one it is. So this is where the F3 is coming down and then lifting back up into the clouds, and there's an explosion, and then the power lines fall down. That happens here. Other location, you've got the. It gets hit by the tornado. The gauche held. That's what they call it in the movie. Is it here? Yep, here it is. You might recognize this. This is from, if I rewind a bit. Let me try to remember where it is. So they deploy the sensors. Yeah, right. The hand over there. Right, they almost get hit by the truck. Whereabouts is it? Jonas gets killed. So we've got the house. That's in Rippy. Wow. So I'm trying to find it here. I think it was before this whole sequence. So you have the... Can I remember in the movie when it hits the tractor implement place, whether it's before or after? Or was it after Jonas? Oh yeah, so it was right before that scene. I wish I could have a bit finer control. Yeah, it's right before, because those tractors that are getting dropped, right? So Jonas gets killed from not listening. So yeah, that's Twister. I made a map of like all the filming locations, as many as I could find. There's some other people on the Twister fan groups on Facebook. There we go. So this here. So it pans around. You got the tornado there. That's this here. They've expanded. I guess they've rebuilt and expanded since then. So yeah, this is another location. And then what's interesting is that all these locations are really far apart. So it's meant to be sucking up these tractors and combine harvesters, and they're meant to be dropping on them. That's actually filmed miles away. That's all the way over near Colo Lake. Colo Lake? Not Colo. Hickory Grove Park. That's I think I was inventing places here. So that was filmed when things start falling out the sky. I think somewhere along here. I think it's either this stretch. Let's try and remember. It might have just been this stretch here. I think it was either along here or further back. We have this whole left, right when they're doing the tractor drop. I forget where exactly they did that, but that next sequence is somewhere along here. I can have a look. I've got it on my maps. Just the filming locations. Iowa. Let's zoom in. Hickory Grove Park. So yeah, it's this bit here. Let's just zoom out. So it's that flat bit down here. Yeah. So that whole sequence. So that must be driving towards there, is it? You can see the metal barrier, which is still there. So that was here. Some other interesting places. One I've actually been trying to figure out. It happens much earlier in the film. So this one, there's very few clues to go off. The cut through the cornfield. Alright, let me just figure out where it is. So I'm going to have to zoom this out a bit. There, the cornfield bit. Right. So drive through the cornfield, almost take Jonas's crew out. Right, yes, let's just go frame by frame. You got some random naked guy in a field as well. Right. So you can kind of see this here. So you've kind of got like a paved road, because it's not a dirt road, it looks paved. Power lines on one side, trees, cornfields on each side. The closest match I've found, but I still don't think it's the right place, is up here. Looking this way. Possibly, I think the road was repaved in 2002. So this may well just been a single track paved road with no road markings on. And there did used to be corn either side, at least on one side. and then on the other side. So this kind of looks like that could have been there, but I'm not entirely convinced it doesn't match exactly. And from what I've heard is it was one of the crew. So when they're driving through Corn, they couldn't actually see where they were going. I think he was stood there as a marker above the corn so people could see where to drive towards. I think he may have also had to signal Jonas's team, like the stunt drivers, when to start driving down the road. And he just happened to accidentally get in the shot. If you get the new remastered Blu-ray, he's edited out. He's not there anymore. But yeah, if anyone happens to watch this and know exactly where this was filmed, maybe it was filmed on a relative's farm, or maybe we were involved with the filming. I did actually get in contact with somebody who helped film this scene, but it was so long ago, he just couldn't remember. He said it's somewhere. He said he remembers driving on the 30 in Iowa to film that scene, and that's all he can remember, which is fair enough. It's 30 years ago now. What else is there around Iowa? You've also got, actually before that, when they're leaving Aunt Meg's house. So, leaving Aunt Meg's. Alright, let's just fast forward. I'll make this the last one that should probably end the stream because we've gone way off topic from the original game. And now we're visiting filming locations. So, they're driving out. Then you get to this scene here. It's like how they actually filmed this. Because it looks like there's a helicopter diving towards them. They actually had them driving really slow, and the helicopter approached really cautiously, and they then sped the footage up, so all this footage is actually sped up. But what I was able to do, let's get this over here. What I was able to do was cross-reference it to the satellite view and figure out where it was filmed. So as they're driving away, you'll see like a little square of land where there's a property. So right after this, so I wish I could press play because the music here is epic. The Walk in the Woods track with Van Halen is just absolutely epic. So you've kind of got like a square property here, and then if you look at satellite view, you'll actually see that silo and that grain bin. So what we're actually looking at, so this shot here is actually this view here. So you see you've got that is that, and they're driving along here. And then you've got this random property here, which you can just see the edge of the property and the road there. So I was able to find that, and then at the end, when Bill decides to drive into the corn, I just had it there. Just had it. Right, this spot here. He drives off into the corn. That's actually just a little bit further up. I think it's further up the road. It's either further up or further down. So that was here. Oh, it's further down. So that is here, looking north. So you can see, so if I rewind a little bit. Right, one of the biggest clues, and this is probably the most niche bit of information about Twister you'll ever see on YouTube. Right, need to get ready for... Right, I need to go frame by frame, because it's only visible for about a frame. Right, so the camera will cut to Bill swerving. I haven't actually figured out where any of this is filmed. Right. I've got to do this carefully because it's only visible for a frame. Alright. You'll see, right, you see this here? It's part of a weather vane. So if I pull this up and go to Street View from 2009, look. You're seeing the very edge of that weather vane there for about one frame. Because look, it'll disappear. So you see the very edge of that, and then see build drives somewhere along here. I haven't figured out the exact spot. I'm guessing he drove somewhere here where there isn't a whole lot of corn growing. So yeah, so there's a lot. So in Iowa, I based the first version of the game was centered on the filming site here. So I still got Twister Research. So that means that will put the Dorsch held place somewhere down here. I think it's cut off where it doesn't quite reach where that cornfield scene was just filmed, but yeah, it's a little bit further outside the bounds of the map. But yeah, just thought I'd share that. If people are interested, there's a correlation between the Twister filming locations and the locations in the first version of the game. But I've been streaming for 1 hour and 45 now. I do need to go to work tomorrow. Thank you everybody who's joined the stream. I'm going to try and get this update pushed as soon as possible. You can just see there's some VHS fixes I need to do. I need to get the main menu buttons all wired in and working properly, and then it'll be ready. So hopefully sometime this week. But thank you everybody. Have a brilliant day, afternoon, morning, evening, wherever you are in the world now. Like I say, keep track of these risk areas. If you're in these risk areas, please pay attention to the weather. Today is not a day to ignore. And yeah, have a brilliant day. So I'm signing out now, everybody. Stay safe.